He's got questions. So is right.
Hi guys, Adam Edelman at BC News. Thanks for meeting with us. Definitely. It's no secret that the right, center-right, likes to caricature you, Representative Omar, and you, Mr. Piker. You're kind of, I'm curious, is it a risk appearing alongside these guys as you kind of frame and head into the general?
It would be risk not to try to build the broadest coalition possible. I think that one of the reasons we see Republicans or the right attack leaders like Representative Hasasn is because they know that they're losing, that the people are powerful and want the issues that they fight for. So just let anyone get wrong. No, we're done.
How are we going to reclaim public land, just like with, like, for instance, the data centers that are being, like, built all over Wisconsin emanation? Like, the land that's already been purchased, how are we actually going to reclaim the privatization of, like, almost everything in America to make it public control, publicly owned by the people?
Yeah, public lands are important to every single Wisconsinite, and it's a very unifying issue in terms of whether you're Republican, Independent, Democrat. And so the state absolutely has a responsibility in protecting our public lands and working with the Treasurer's Office and the different environmental coalitions to fight for it together.
You indicated that you don't agree with the entire DSA national platform. What would you add to it if you could add something, or what do you think is missing? And that goes for all three of you. What do you think that the political platform is missing to reel more people in to the philosophy?
I think there should be a right to self-determination, that everyone has the freedom to be themselves, and that we're protecting communities and their right to be able to be themselves.
Close to the way things are changing within the Democratic Party here, are you noticing a changing in tone or a changing of the guard in terms of just how viable your campaign, what's happening in Michigan and all over the country might be?
And I was excited when one of my opponents came out and said that now he supports free childcare. I think it's great if we can get more people with us on the issues that impact the most people. So are we trying to advance their brand? Well, we are seeing we have to build the Big Ten coalition for the Democrats if we're going to keep winning.
And I think for far too long, Democrats have been considered the party for the working people, and they've forgotten that that's what they're supposed to be doing. And so the energy that you're seeing, not just in Wisconsin, but in Minnesota, in Michigan, what you saw in New York, is that the people are reclaiming that. They're saying we're supposed to be working on our behalf, and we need candidates that will do just that. And that's why you're seeing the kind of excitement and the energy and the hope that people have when they see Francesca standing up for them.
So one thing Tom Tiffany runs on saying is don't Minnesota, Wisconsin. What are your thoughts on that?
Minnesota is a great state. We are proud of the progress that we've made, whether it is advancing paid sick and safe time, whether it is having universal school meals, whether it is expanding healthcare for folks, whether it is addressing the climate crisis so that the next generation doesn't have to suffer. And I think it is our brothers and sisters in the Midwest that have always inspired that kind of change. They've just not had the kind of politic that allowed for the advancement of those kind of policies that they deeply believe in, because here in the Midwest, we care for one another. We've always been the kind of place where people come because they know that there's going to be good people who are going to fight for you. And I think that there is some restoration that is happening here in Wisconsin and in Michigan.
You asked the DSA question, and I would like to answer that. I know
I have a follow-up for you, too.
Okay. Arrest and prosecute and bring about corruption charges for every prominent member of this administration that is engaged in corruption, and prosecute and arrest ICE agents that have also done crimes as well on the job. That would be a platform position that I would want to see from the Democratic Socialists of America.
You said that there is no chance that the party's pick is going to be pro-Israel in 2028. what else do you think that there is no chance of in this future?
Great question. So I think that was another point of divergence between the DC bubble and the media bubble and like regular folk. From all of my travels around the country, from protest to protest, but then also like now stumping for candidates, I have heard I've heard consistently that people, especially under the age of 50, and now it's getting even older, are sick and tired of the unconditional loyalty that this government has shown, and even previous governments have shown, to Israel, especially when Israel has done so many war crimes and, the crime of all crimes, genocide, with our tax dollars, with our munitions. And what I found very interesting was the response from Fox News with Mark Levin crying on camera, which was incredible, to even, Democratic consultants going on Fox News to say, this is ridiculous. They're out of touch and they're completely out of step with the base. From my perspective, that saying that is almost like saying there's no chance that there is going to be an anti-abortion Democrat. That is where we're at right now. I think that's where the people are at. That's where the party's base is at. And it's up to the Democratic Party to recognize where this movement is going. So that's my attitude on that question.
People first, taking care of the working class, advancing policies that keep our tax dollars here to care for one another, and not sending it abroad for bombs.
Yes.
Making sure that we're protecting the environment for the next generation. I think those are going to be the policies going forward of the Democrats, because that just is who our base is. That's what they care about. And they want us to go back to the idea of caring for one another.
What's something that Governor Evers has done that you really respect?
I think Governor Evers has done a tremendous job in building relationships with our tribal communities, and the next governor, for them it will be imperative that we continue to make sure that we strengthen a sovereign-to-sovereign relationship.
And have you spoken with him despite him endorsing a candidate who you are correct at running against?
I have not spoken yet to the governor.
One last question.
You've been speaking of tribal communities, tribal leadership, but sorry, it's so good.
Two questions.
Okay, years ago, everyone was talking about the climate, right? It's Standing Rock, and it was a great form of unity. Now it seems to be even more income inequality, and AI data centers is like a form where you see rural people and people in urban communities, Republican and Democrat independents, all agree on that. The fight for humanity. Either way, do you see that playing a role with the rise of EDSA? All these policies that you've had maybe for a long time are actually being recognized by people that are now first time dealing with settler colonialism. I would say, with extractive industries coming in and taking their land.
My legislation and support for a moratorium on the construction of new AI data centers has broad, bipartisan, multi-geographic, multi-status, multi-economic status support. So I think it's indicating that people can see it as a democracy issue, that they want us to stand up to big tech and oligarchs, that they see it as a threat to our natural resources, and that we should be telling these companies that our natural resources are not for sale. And I think people are uniting around the fact that this is something that we all have to be solving and figuring out together. And I'm excited to have a potential opportunity to do that with the legislature as well.
You mentioned Israel, but notably it was something that, it didn't come up when you guys were up there. It's not really a big part of your stump speech. Obviously, this is a state race, not a federal race, but can you talk a little bit about whether that's intentional and whether you're looking to avoid talking about Israel and other major national, international issues to keep the tent big, as you like to say?
If I'm at a town hall or at another event and someone asks about the genocide, I'll answer. But we have been listening to voters all across the state, and they want elected leaders to be leading with moral clarity. But they also want to make sure that in that we're fighting for them to be able to take care of our babies and have free childcare, that we make sure that we're fighting for our elders to be able to age and live a life of dignity here in our state, that we have fair wages. This is a state that has a $7.25 an hour minimum wage, and folks want us to focus on affordable housing and making sure that we're protecting our waters. It is not intentional. I'm here listening to the voters and staying open and transparent about where I stand when it comes to genocide.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
No.
Thanks.